Bert de Verme from Open Future, and this is my colleague Johan de Wit from Open Future. We're both Linux and open source consultants, and we're going to give a small introduction to Razor and what you can do with it and all that cool stuff. So, little image, Razor and a Puppet is cool. I got a few questions. Who already knows Razor? So, okay, it's quite a lot. So, and who already used it? Okay, so it's a few less. So, what is Razor? So, it's a software tool for rapid provisioning, for provisioning operating systems as well as hypervisors on both physical and virtual servers. So that's in a small few words what Razor is. Yep. So originally it was developed by some guys at EMC. They looked around to other provisioning tools and other provisioning tools didn't really fit what they had in mind. So they started developing from scratch with a few key features in mind. The first thing and probably the most important, I think, for them at that moment was that adding a new operating system or hypervisor should be easy and simple. Also, the provisioning tool had to be event-driven, so they wanted as little user interaction as possible. Also, the tool had to have powerful discovery, so should be able to discover the hardware and what kind of model it is and all that stuff. It should also scale well, and the guy that started developing was also a big fan of the focus on the task at hand and not try to do everything with one tool, but to focus on their main task and provide other tasks by integration with other tools. So it should easily integrate with DevOps tools, and the control structure had to support REST. So now, a while ago, they released Razor in collaboration with Puppet Labs. So the code for Razor was released under the Apache license. You can find it on the Puppet Forge or on the Puppet Labs GitHub page. In short, I'm going to try not to talk too much. We're going to go fast and then we're going to go to a demo. So really short, Razor consists of two main components. One is the Razor server that's mainly written in Ruby on top of MongoDB, and it also uses Node.js for the APIs. And the other is the Razor microkernel, which is really a small Linux kernel with vector and collective included. So a few key features of what Razor can do at this moment. Razor provides auto-discovered real-time inventory data, so it uses Factor to generate information about a node that's being booted, and it sends that information back to the Razor server. Using that information, you can do dynamic image selection. So you can, based on the hardware information, deploy different operating systems, different hypervisors, and so on. The provisioning is model-based, so every operating system or operating system release is a model in the Razor terminology. Razor uses open APIs, so it's easy to integrate other tools with Razor using the RESTful APIs. Yes, and Razor can provide, together with what they call a broker, and currently Chef and Puppet are supported. You can do the whole lifecycle management with Razor and Puppet. So we're going to go to the demo now. So first I'm going to explain the workflow in short. So when a machine boots, it works with PXE boot and TFTP. It gets a microkernel, it boots the microkernel, it loads up Factor, it generates the information, and it sends that information back to the Razor server. Then the user can, based on certain model templates that are already included, create some models that's defined in operating system templates actually. And then you can create policies. And what are policies? Policies are basically a bit like firewall rules, in which you say, I want to apply a certain model to certain nodes based on the information that you get from the discovery. And then at the final step, when the node is deployed, it gets delivered to the broker, being Chef or Puppet. So, Johan is now going to show a node being booted, so we can show a little bit about the node discovery. I'm going to pass the microphone.
Hi. Everyone hearing me good? Okay. Let's see the demo setup. I have already Puppet Master with the Razor installed. Already one node that has already booted with Razor. So first a little word about the installation. So I used the Puppet Enterprise because it's very easy to install. It doesn't have much work. And then I installed from the Forge the Puppet Razor. That's all I had to do. And then first step is things I already have done. If you see the Razor command line, so it's very interactive, the CLI, and it has a good help function. So if you don't remember in the beginning, it's quite hard to policies, brokers, images, and stuff like that. It's a little bit rethinking of how you manage your servers. So the first thing I had to do, I've already done it because it took quite some time, was the image. So if you see, I imported two images. One, the Razor microkernel. That's given, that's the TinyOS based image. That's given to the loader as PXE booting. And then afterwards, I installed an OS, which in this case is CentOS. So you can install many more distributions as you like. If you see, there are quite a lot of things supported already. So if you get a Razor model, get the templates. So you see quite a lot of distributions already supported. You see VMware, Linux, and Windows is in the progress. So they are starting developing. There is demand for Windows deploying, so that's coming. I think the end of the year it will be there. Okay. So if you see also, I have already one node. Where was my? I already booted one node, and that's detected by Razor. So now, and that's the funny part, that's the good part of Razor. Now I can just roll it. If I said get, I have to pass the UID, and then okay. So that's everything that the microkernel has passed from the first boot to the Razor server. So that's already available, and we can do things with that. We can add tags with that, we can do matches, and depending on specific values of this, we can decide which OS we want to deploy on that. So let's see if I do another node. So I'm a lazy one. So okay, so just it's just booting. The only thing it is PXE booted and an empty disk. That's everything I have configured. So now PXE booting is and the microkernel is installed and loaded. So you can see it here. Takes a little time. Okay, it's booting. So now our Ruby gems and stuff are installed, like Factor and Collective and stuff like that. And now it will be sending that to the server. So if I do a node again, I have two nodes now. I have nothing to do with that. So everything goes automatically. Also, as you can see, some default tags are already defined. So, and that's coming from here. So that's already maxing. So if I could say, if every KVM VM should install Debian, if the policy is there, it will install Debian on that. If, for instance, you have servers with 8 gig of RAM, if you can define it, like the first one, it's a tag I defined with 512 megabytes of RAM, I can add a policy to that. So in that case, in this case, I already did it. I didn't define a tag. So I have a tag and so complete. So that's a tag I defined. So what I did, I gave it a name, a label. It's get UID generated, and then that's this one. That's my rule. The RAM size must be equal to that. So now I can add this tag to the policy. Let's see. Okay. Here I have a policy. It's still disabled. It's a demo. It's just a label name, and here that is the tag that must be met. So if this tag is met, so my memory size is that big, then this policy will be executed. Normally, that's it. The whole window. It's very hard, I don't see it here, but I have to look for it. So I'm going to try to enable this policy. I don't know how I do it, so I just do the help function. It's very handy, and so you can update. I need the UID and then let's see what we can do. Enable. Oh, it's so as you can see, it's true. So normally, I hope it will work. Normally, the Razor server is getting every minute or every time. I set it to 10 seconds. Normally, it will pick it up. And now it will start installing by itself. As soon as you see, oops. Let's see. That's everything what one had to do. So As you see now, it's installing the OS image. I have done nothing on this node. It's going automatically. So every time a node has changed and states, it sent it to the Razor server. So let's move it a little bit. Okay, you can see it's installing now. I'm looking for my mouse. Okay. So, and the only thing I did is enable this policy. That's everything I did, nothing else. So handy thing. Let's see. I'm missing something here.
You modify?
Yeah. Active model. So normally. Okay. So now this node that's now installing has changed the state to init. During the process, every state is given back to afterwards when the installation is done. The state of the node is changed in I don't know what by heart. I think it will be booted, and it will be constantly updated to the Razor, even when the system is booted. Okay. So let's see what it's doing here. Okay. I'm just demonstrating Razor, not the installation. So something has to be going on, otherwise that's something that happens always with me. Okay. Now let's see what I have here. Okay. As you can see here also, the first one has it here also changed from state. So this one is active, it's still up, it's still in the Razor microkernel, and this one is booting. So, well, let's see, let's make for this one, I can make there another policy for. So, I'm using my mouse. Let's see what we can choose from this one. Gets. Oops. I always mess that up. Attributes. So I'm gonna take an easy one. Let's say, okay, which one? I can see it a bit. Which one is this? Okay. Let's say we're gonna take that one. We're gonna put our tag. So Razor tag. Let's see, we have the help. We have to provide the name. Mac. The tag name. Okay, not lazy. Okay, so that's created. So now we have a tag. Next thing we have to do, we have to have a rule to attach to that tag. So, oops, Razor tag. We take this one. Let's see, that's very handy. The help in the beginning you will use that. Matches. Sure. And then key. Let us. That's the key. explain it quickly. Okay. Let's clean up a bit. Okay, so now I got out. Let's see. Here you can say it's like or it's equal. So equal. Let's move it a little bit. And then we have to put the value. Let's do the okay, so now we have added the rule for it. So if we see now is the rule. So normally, as you can see here, the tag is added because that node is matching that tag. Okay, that's the first thing we have to do. And then, now we're going to add the policy to it. Oops, probably here. I will see the templates. So I've got templates. I don't know them by heart. Oops. So, okay, it will be. Let's see if I have a model. Okay, I have a model. This one is a model for Red Hat. So now, first I'm going to create a model for CentOS because I normally install CentOS in this name. Templates. So I have to choose one. So I'm going to take this one. Reason model. And let's see what we have to do. We have to add a template. That's the wrong one. So, okay, we have to make the label. Let's send to us, and then we have to add an image. So, I don't know it. Let's image. Yeah, you have to use the UID, so you have to take this one. That's sent to us, yes. So let's copy that again. Oops. The image, yes, this one. That's a little too much. Okay, so now we have a model. You have to ask some questions and to answer some questions. So we choose the default, that's the default root password when you log in. The default domain. You can change that in the Ruby code. And then the node. If you install many nodes that are the same, what will Razor do? They will install the first node will be node 01, 02, 03, 05. So when you install this and you apply Razor in a cloud environment, it's very easy. You can say, yes, install 10, 20 nodes. So that's it. So now we have a model. Then the next thing is to add a policy to it. Okay, let's see which templates we have. So As you can see, Linux deployed with Linux and VMware hypervisors are supported already or coming. To add p Linux defaults. Yes, default. Then we have to add a label. As policy, we have to add a model. That is the model we have just created. So, we have to add the tag, which will be map in this case, and we label it immediately. And the X, let's say we want a maximum of 10 nodes installing with that. So I didn't make any mistakes. Yeah, that's the label. Okay, so let's see if this node, what is this node doing? So that's a little bit patient for 10 seconds. You can see it starts installing it just by defining the policy. And this will be installing with the CentOS. So that's a beauty from doing that. And you have a complete inventory of your hardware in front of before you install it. You just put your servers, be it or make your images, put your servers in the racks, power them up, go to your desk, and if you have Pixie Boot, everything you can do it from your desk. Okay. I'm a little short on RAM on my laptop, so but it's just demonstrating how Razor is working. So, okay. I think that was a little demonstration of what Razor is capable of. If there are any questions or some things you want to view, please ask. Yes?
I assume Razor ships with predefined Kickstart files and PC files or something?
Yes. Let's see. Just a moment. Where is the mouse? There. Let's clean up. So, Razor is installed, if you install it from the Puppet Forge, Razor is installed in an opt. You have the lib directory. So, and Project Razor. There you can find everything you need. So, let's and just go to the model. There you can find all the definitions of your Debian, Red Hat, slash, and if you look, for instance, in the Debian RB, here you can set some defaults. These are the defaults that you will ask him whenever you define a new model for your node. So, and there is a little domain name. So here you can add things like that. The other thing, like Debian RB, these are just inheriting the Debians like Red Hat. That's the main. And this one, if you see, it's very small. You're just inheritance it. So as you can see, there's not much in here, so it's very flexible. And then if you go to Debian, as you can see, Okay. Here you get the template. PC template. So here you can see some things and you can change that and adjust that to your environment. So you have that for pre-seed for Debian, Altruist for SUSE, and Kickstart. It's all the same. It's all just based on the Ruby templates.
So if this weird dependency right in Kickstart files, for example, is it easy to use different Kickstart files for different features for different installs?
Well, you have to make another model of it. So, and that's like I did show you with. Let's show it again. So, if you have. In the model, you have here the base model, and then you have all the different kinds. It's all based on this one, and most things are common for all things, but what's just common for your distribution or your Kickstart, you just add it there, and then you make a new Kickstart, or you extend it with templating. If you, for instance, if you say, I have 2 hard disks in my system, Razer could detect it, not in this version. Then you have another partitioning scheme, so that's possible. It's just Ruby templating like you are used with the templates with Puppet, just the same. Afterwards, when Razer has done the job, it's just giving everything to the broker. So in this case, I already defined it. So that's also configured. So that's my broker, that's my server running, and it's running this version of the Puppet. Or you can, at the moment, only Chef and Puppet is supported. So, I don't think Puppet Enterprise is already supported for, it's just a community version you are installing. But it should be very easy to change that. Any more questions? Yes?
Can Razer be made to support specific algorithms, for example, we use HP, and you need the HP issue
Yeah, but that's Puppet who is going to do that. So just install Puppet.
But they can't do that because you need to create a dataset before you can actually.
You can do that, but you have to change the Kickstart and stuff like that. So everything you do with Kickstarting is possible also here. So you can extend the Kickstart file to do that if you have to do things on installation. And everything afterwards is just given to Puppet. Yes?
Almost the same question. Is it possible to have multiple stages? Like I put on the first installation, set the BMC, the red, and stuff like that, and then I install the real program.
That's what I was going to question.
I'll take that question. So it's possible in Razer to work in different stages because actually it already works in different stages. So can I take the projector? I'll just show it maybe. Okay. So, quite readable like this. So you have a command for Razer active model. Johan already showed it, and that shows a list of active models at this moment. Right now I don't have any active model, but I'll just enable my policy I made earlier. So you can also the unique identifiers for policies, models, and stuff like that. You don't have to copy paste the whole identifier. You can just use a short version too if they don't clash. So I just enabled my policy. So now, normally, if I wait a second, my active model should come. So there it is. So now I can see that for the model I created, precise deploy, there is a node in init mode. So if you use the active model log view command, you get a little bit more detail. Right now I get nothing because it hasn't started doing anything yet, but normally in a minute it will come. I'll just show the way it works in stages. So in Repops Razor project, I'll take as an example the Ubuntu model. So you have every one of these templates that you see here actually represents a stage. So you have normally you have a pre-seed, but it's the pre-seed also exists in different stages. You have pre-seed, post-pre-seed, and every time a stage is entered, the client sends a callback to Razor, and with the active model log view command, you can actually see at which stage the machine is in right now. So in this command, it's a little bit too big maybe. So right now you can see that currently my node is in the first stage, so it's starting the Ubuntu model install. And you have here, for example, the OS boot ARB is just a shell file, actually, a shell script that is being called after the installation is complete. And that's the first step of the post-install sequence. But the post-install sequence consists of a few steps, so you could hack in the Ruby code or just commit in the Ruby code your own stuff per stage if you would like to do different things in different stages. So you could take advantage of the fact that it already works in stages to do different stuff at different times. You could also do stuff before the installation starts. So you can see here that every callback here is a stage. So right now it acknowledged that it read my pre-seed file, but for every stage you could write custom code if you like. Okay. Any other questions? Yes?
Is there a way to, in that model, add a go, no-go on your stage? So the Razor server has the information of the node, and it suggested an operating system which gives the operator a chance to approve that before the installation starts.
I guess it should be possible, but you would have to program that yourself. But it is Ruby, so it's quite extensible. It's quite easy to extend certain models, and right now, I must say the documentation, there isn't a plethora of documentation, but if you know Ruby and if you can read source code, you can find it out for yourself and play with it, and it should be possible to code such a thing, yes. Any other questions? Yes?
The initial infantry of the first that you're building, how does that get presented back to the Razor server? In what format?
I actually, yeah, it uses Factor to generate it, but I don't know in which format it is sent right now. I haven't looked into that part, but I guess it would be something like maybe YAML, maybe XML, because it's a RESTful API. I don't know whether it's plain text, whether it's YAML, but you could find it out by searching through the code, of course.
So it doesn't go to the database, it's files.
There is a database, so there is a MongoDB stack, but I don't know if the discovered information is being pushed in the database. I think not at the moment. But you could also write your own code to do that if you would like that. So right now, to clear it, so right now Project Razor, it's quite usable, but it's still maybe a bit of a proof of concept, so it isn't really finished yet. But there is a whole README of how to contribute, and they're looking for contributors. So if you really like the project, have a look at the GitHub page and try to contribute. It will be really nice. You have another question?
So it obviously lacks a web UI.
Can you repeat that, please?
So it lacks a web user interface. Is that something that we discussed with the industry?
I didn't get it again, so can you please
It
repeat?
doesn't have a web user interface as such, like
No, at the moment it doesn't have a web interface, and I don't think that it's on the roadmap yet. I have so on the short term, the roadmap for Project Razor, that's what we got from Daniel, I think, and emailed it. So on the short term, the roadmap is to provide real operating system packages. So right now you can install it by cloning it from GitHub or getting it from the Puppet Forge. So on short term, they want to provide real operating system packages that should be maybe ready by the end of February already. Then the next steps are to improve PostgreSQL support, to resolve scaling problems that they're having under heavy load, and to improve reliability. So in the short term, the focus is really to make it stable and usable. On the long term, other features will be added, like for example the support for custom facts in the microkernel, so that you can write your custom facts and have them being sent to the Razor server in the discovery stage. So you can, let's say you have 100 servers and you want to use a custom fact to specify which policy to or which model to install. That's one of the features that's that they're thinking about for the long-term roadmap. Also, easier integration of new models. It's already quite easy, but easier integration. And also on the long roadmap is better broker implementation. So I guess a web interface of some sort, it would be really long-term. Any other questions? No more questions? Okay. I'll just go back to my slides. So I already talked about the roadmap. Was the demo a bit clear? So how what the workflow is of Razor, was that clear for everybody? Yes, okay. So I already discussed the roadmaps. And then for more information, you can go to the GitHub page for Project Razor, or you can contact us on our technical contact. And for other information about other stuff, maybe Puppet, you can also contact us, of course. And for commercial information, you can always contact our commercial contact that's listed over there. So, thank you.